there's a situation now with the Chiefs. Okay, they have a young wide receiver coach. All right, and you said it there that sometimes when you watch what's going on film, that could be an indication of the coaching. It could be an indication of maybe what they're being told. Now, obviously, we don't know the relationships or how the dynamics work inside of the building, right? Because every team is different. We understand that. Every coaching style is different. But some of the things that I do see in some of the route running, there's no crisp routes. There's no setting them up for, getting out of the break, creating separation, right? They're saying all these guys don't get open, but I'm sitting there saying he didn't do anything to set him up. He didn't do anything to buy back any of his real estate. Okay, you know how we talk about that, getting your real estate back. And so what that means is, when you want to set a guy up to create that space. And one of the plays in the game is they were looking probably corner came and pressed on him. I think the guy was going to run a post. I'm not quite sure, but he stacked it to get on top of it, right? But he didn't go back outside. I'm sure you saw it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And I was like, great. He stacked it. Okay. He got him on his back hit. He's got the corner. He's got everything he needs to do. Now he just needs to finish the play. Right.
That's right. Yeah.
It would have been masterful. It would have been masterful. You could have taken a play like that if it all worked out well, catching on the sideline, and you could have took it to a clinic.
Mm-hmm.
He easily said he helped the quarterback gain a little bit more of that real estate on the outside. Now he can catch the ball on the outside shoulder. Now he has room to run, maybe stiff arm, and get up the field, almost score. Okay. And so it just seems like sometimes it's off key. It just seems like they're not the communication, right? You said it. It's paramount. Okay, it's imperative that you have great communication. We're in week 10. It was week 10, right? It was week 10. And I get this is a young group. Okay, the veteran guy that you got on there is MVS. He's the oldest guy in the group. We were politicking to get older veterans on the team. I mean, because we just feel like a veteran's needed, especially when you have a young group of guys, to teach them how to be professionals. Okay, to kind of show them the ropes a little bit about what it is you need to do, whether work ethic or. But a veteran could help a guy like that say, "Hey, man, listen, when you run this route, okay, you did a great job getting on top of it. Now, fade back outside for the catch. Like, we got to work on those things. So, like those things you work on in practice." And so when we got this young wide receiver coach, we don't quite know what's going on, what's being said. But I have to say, it is coaching. Part of it is the coaching. It is the coaching. I'm not going to speak disparagingly on anybody, but I know you will be very particular on what it is you want these guys to do and what route you want them to run.
Well, the thing about it is that, again, I don't know who the receiver coach is, but I'm sure that, hey, he's doing his diligence to make sure the guys are doing, what Andy and the offensive coordinator wants them to do. I watch a lot of football, and I was in San Francisco. You know what a drive is, basic and all that. But anyway, so we put in a slot formation, and this is in, I want to say, 96, 97 maybe, and say, okay, so we're going to run, and everybody runs it. They take the slot and fade him on the outside, and the outside guy comes underneath. Okay, we call it big box back in the day, because all that sideline with this guy holding the corner here, you got all that room after the work. The guy drops back, you come underneath. We call it big box, and they're sitting there. And I sit at the TV and I yell at the TV sometimes because the guys are running, and some guys run it perfect, and some guys are running to the sideline. Why would you run a route to the sideline to help the DB? He forces you wide. I watch guys run go routes on the outside. Yeah. And you're getting all the way to the sideline. You don't stack anybody, like what you're saying. And I was a stickler about that, and most coaches are sticklers about it, but that's just the way I've always taught it. And to me, you take best release. If I'm getting pressed, if I'm getting pressed, I'm going to take best release. I don't care if I'm running a slant, if I'm running a go, if I'm running a comeback. I guess you could say, how can you run a comeback on an inside release if he's pressing me? Because if I take an inside release, and what's his job? He said, don't get beat where? Deep, right? That
Deep.
means he's got to run fast to do what? Catch up.
Catch
And
up.
when he's running fast to catch up, I'm going to throw him by. Or, just about any route. But, you know about running slants, running hitches, running curls. But when you run, there's step routes, right? But if you get press coverage now, how can you take steps now? You can't take steps anymore. You got to take what? Yards. To make everything time up.
Yes.
And it's one thing that I've always prided myself in doing. And Bill Walsh co-signed, and he didn't know I was doing this already. He said to Mariucci, he said, you need to have all the coaches make drill tapes. That's what he said. And so the coaches had to make drill tapes. I already had my drill tape because I go out and do drills. And I've got if you YouTube 49 drill tape, you can see guys running my drills and me out there sometimes. But I got all those drills that I worked, whether it's route, whether it's push crack, whether it's stalk block, and I got a run game. And it's all about teaching. But I think that, coaches should, drill the route. And then all of a sudden, it's easy in the game. The only other thing I would say, Jason, is about receiver play. Jerry Rice. He had J.J. Stokes, but Terrell Owens came to us in the third round. And Terrell Owens came to us with some branches. He didn't have a route tree. He had some branches. And he had some branches. Okay. And the very first pass that Steve Young threw to Terrell Owens, a third round draft pick, guess what Terrell did to it? It's a pat and go. Guess what happened?
Yeah.
He dropped it. I said, oh my gosh. And Terrell, I tell the story all the time. I said, what have we done? I wanted him, but here's the guy. But what Terrell did, he emulated Jerry. He watched Jerry. And pretty soon he was running routes just like Jerry. And it got to a point that, hey, if he can do it, I can do it. I mean, that was his MO. And he was a good enough athlete. He really was. Probably one of the another guy was J.D. Stokes. J.D. Stokes is 6'5". Now, I've got some drill tapes on him, will blow your mind, of him running routes at 6'5". And every time I get my drill tapes out, the first thing they ask, who is this guy right here? Who's this 83?
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. And so it's just a teaching tape to run a basic, to run a go, to run a dig, to run a corner, to run a slant. I mean, it's unbelievable. But that's what I pride myself in, is that, hey, it's man to man. He's pressed. I don't want you standing up in the air. I don't want you running in place. I want you to go 1-2 and go. Because that DB's told, if he gets his hands on you, he's got you. But if he doesn't get his hands on you, he's got to fight to catch up. And so that's just, it's always been my MO to try to, best release, play fast, play under control. And like I said, I've had fun doing it, but I've had some great players to coach. And if they listened, and they did, it was easy. The game was a lot easier for those guys.
Yeah.
So.
When I'm looking at this, and what do these guys go now? Okay, because you don't have a Jerry Rice there to teach a TO. You got the young group of guys. MVS being the elder statesman, which you had a really third wide receiver up in Green Bay, comes to Kansas City to be the guy, the number one receiver. You don't have that guy. You don't have that toolage. Okay. The closest guy that you got there is maybe Travis Kelce, but he's playing tight end. Okay. And Travis and Patrick's on a whole different wavelength with each other. They're on a whole different wavelength. So they can't really emulate what Travis Kelce does, because Travis is running some of his own routes, Okay. And I said this, and I'm gonna stand by this. I said when Travis runs his own routes, sometimes what it may do, and you'll see this, that there's 3 guys in the same area, okay, and it may mess up the integrity of some of the route running and some of the plays.
Mm-hmm.
But the Christmas I see of the wide receivers, there's no snap, there's no exploding out. Al Saunders in practice used to tell us every route that you run is a 9 route. I don't care what it is. If it's flat, if it's an out, it's a basic, it's a comeback, everything is a 9 route, right? That's what you got to show them. That's what you got to show them, because that's how you get open. And you beat them with speed, like you said. If somebody sees you flying like a bat out of hell, that corner, he's got to get on his horse. He has to, right?
All right. And with that said, my last point for you is there's a guy named Andre Johnson.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Who did he have to emulate? I coached Andre for 7 years. Who did he have to emulate?
Nobody. He was the guy down there. He started with him, right?
He had nobody to emulate. And, I got him after his 3rd, 4th year, I guess. And it was unbelievable what he could do. I mean, a guy that big and the routes he could run. And he would have had 30 more touchdowns if the ball had been thrown out there where he didn't have to slow down to catch it and get tackled. But that's how good he was. Yeah. And nobody, and I love Jerry, I love T.O., love J.J., Jacoby Jones, I love them all. But nobody will go across the middle like he could and catch in traffic. That dig route, or the curl, or the post. And he took some licks, but the guy was phenomenal.
Yes, he was.
For him to do the piece of work that he did with the quarterbacks that he had, and Matt Schaub did some good things early on for him, but after that, he had nobody.
You're right.
The body of work that he did is phenomenal, and it's a shame he didn't get in on the first round. And I think he should have, if you consider the body of work and what he had to do all by himself. And then he ended up having some guys to help him out, the Kevin Walters, Andre Davis, Jacoby Jones, people like that. We had a little guy named David Anderson who even sparked us at time. But at the same time, the things that he did, it's just monumental. That it was unbelievable. So, but he'll get his one day. But at the same time, that's another guy. The body of work. I mean, he worked his butt off, man. I mean, he competed. And that's the other thing is that, I love guys that play basketball as a receiver because they can get in and out of the breaks and crossover and things of that nature. But, I look at receivers now, like I said, some of them are just playing basketball. They're playing jump ball.
That's right.
They're not creating separation. They're playing jump ball. And they're making plays. Yeah, I know Chris Carter in his career was phenomenal. He could play with the best, bobbing guys up. I mean, unbelievable. But and some guys are doing that. But the game hasn't changed. It really hasn't. The athletes have, and like Tyreek Hill's a whole new, different kind of guy. And so is Waddell, and the guy I love is that Devontae Smith. He just plays.
Yes,
he don't complain. He's so unassuming, man. I mean, and Brown's good, but Devontae, that's my kind of guy right there.
Yeah. He torched us in the game, and I knew they were going to start going to him. I knew when Steve shut down AJ, I'm just like the natural progression. You got to go Devontae Smith. Why wouldn't you, right? And he torched us, and rightfully so. That was just mismatch. I would never I would timeout. We got a safety on Devontae's timeout right now, immediately. Check out of it. We need check.
Yeah. But there's a lot of good receivers in the league. There really are, and like you said, hey, they all want to catch 5, 6, 7, 8 balls, and then there's some guys that Anyway, I'm not going to go there.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out the best clips from Chief Concerns. And if you prefer to listen to the show, subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your podcasts.